Hey, how's it going? All right, I got a money saving tip for you guys. A lot of people out there struggling to make ends meet or just gave up their cell phones altogether because of the cost. It's kind of outrageous. So here, I want to help you guys out. I'm going to show you how to get a cell phone for basically free. The only cost involved is the actual initial initiation. So if you already have a phone, this is absolutely free. So I was doing the research because I wanted to figure out a way. I almost never use my phone. I don't carry it with me. I don't use it except for these emergency things. So I wanted to have something for that. And I've been paying $75 or whatever for this plan. So on Sprint. So I decided to do some research. And well, my phone has been out of contract for a long time. It's an Evo 4G, and they've got a list of phones here that they accept that allows you to bring your own product. So here's the link for that, and then you'll want to click on that one to activate your own phone. If you want to see which phones work with it, they've got a list of phones. And so, you just go down the list. This is still a pretty popular phone, and you can pick them up for about $100 on Craigslist or eBay. Uh, and it does have the LTE network. That's one nice thing. My old phone still works on 3G, no problem. They go backwards to 3G with these phones, and it doesn't cost any extra. So, um, all right. So you find out whether your phone is on the list. If it's not, I think it's worth it to, get one. I mean, this Evo 4G old phone that I've got laying around here um, cost me $20 to put on their network. And now it's permanent. I get 500 gigs of usage each month, and I get 200 minutes of call time and 500 texts. Well, I don't use the text. I probably use 50 minutes a month at the most on calling, and my usage on my data usage is usually around 250 at the very most when I'm on a vacation or something. So it's like this is just crazy because wherever I am, I have my laptop. I always use a laptop, and the cell phone is only for phones or if I'm on the highway or something. All right. So you're going to go to the bring your own device thing. You're going to click on this little button here, activate your own device. And I just put in a fake stuff here because I'm just trying to show you. But you're going to put in your area code just to make sure that you qualify and the email address that you want to associate with it. All right, and then your address or somewhere near your house if you don't want them to know where you live. But I don't see why anyone would care. Okay, now this is where it gets a little tricky, and you want to pay attention here because your phone might not work, and it would be a bummer if they get, if you got the wrong information. And this was my problem, and it really screwed me up for a long time. I missed out on this deal because of it. If your phone is connected to a service right now, and these phones, like these are Sprint phones, so if you have Sprint, they'll take any Sprint phones. If you've got Sprint phones laying around, well, there you go. And if they're on their list. So you get you get your phone, you take out the battery, and back there is the number you need. It's usually like on my case, it was like 270, 11, 31, and then those are the first uh, seven numbers on all of them. And then after that you get into some other numbers like 7, 8, 9, uh, something like that, what it should look like. And then you type in this code. If you don't get to this window where it's got this code down here, it's not going to work. It just doesn't work. They've got other pages that will take you to this where you're testing for your device, it will just absolutely say your device doesn't work for this system, even though it's an Evo 4G or a Galaxy 3 S3 or whatever. All right, so you punch in the number, uh, and it says check my device. It's an error in the number. It's because I just guessed. But if you are connected to Sprint at the time, or you have a connection, it's going to give an error, and it's going to come back, and it's going to say we don't accept your phone right now, but get on the list, and when we do accept your phone, we'll let you know. Well, if you have an Evo 4G or any of the ones on the list, it does accept. So that was their problem. They refused to fix it. I've already talked to them on the phone. So you just have to work around it. So here's the problem. If you want to port your number, let's say you want to take your number with you, um, they say they can do it, but the problem is they tell you to disconnect your phone from from your provider, and then you can create an account, which is true. Once you create an account, then you can port numbers into that account, which is true. The problem is once you disconnect your account, that number disappears and it can't be ported anymore. So do not disconnect that number. If you want to hold on to your number, don't listen to them. You have to port your number out first before you close that account. So what I had to do, because I was also doing other things, I decided to use the Magic Jack. So I got like 5 years of Magic Jack. It's just as good as my other home phone, and I don't, I'm done. I'm good for 6 years for like $150, and I was able to port my number over. So I ported my number from my home right into my Magic Jack, and uh, and then I found out that I could port another number in for my application for my Jack that goes to my cell phone. So what I did was I went ahead and ported my cell phone number in there, and I was able to hold it. Of course, Magic Jack charges you for porting, so you know the first time they give you a little discount, but the second time when you port your second number in there, they're going to hit you with a $20 charge, and then another $10 going out. So, it does get a little more expensive. I wish these guys would fix that over here on uh, Freedom Pop. But the truth is, once you're all done, it's $20 to get into the system, and they give you a free number for that. And then if you want to port your number over, they don't charge you anything from Freedom Pop. It just costs you at Magic Jack to do the porting thing. You got to get the number, save the number, and put it in and hang on to it. And then once you're done, then you can port it from Magic Jack to your uh, cell phone. And that's what I did. So I was able to save my number. But you know, that's been a hassle. I've been in discussions with Freedom Pop over this, and hopefully they'll be able to resolve it so people can actually port their number, because the only way you can port your number is if you port it out um, somewhere else and hold it while you're taking your phone away from the service. So anyhow, once you put this stuff in, it will come up with another page. I can't show you that page right now, but it will have three boxes, and the one that'll be checked on the bottom, they'll have dots that you can check. The one will be checked, will say free, and you'll get 2 gigabytes of usage. Well, it's only free for the first month, and after that they start charging you. So you want to go all the way over to the left or to the bottom. There's one of them that says basic, and it's free. It's absolutely free, and you never have to pay for it. That's the 200 minutes of calling, 500 text messages, and 500 megabytes of usage. So you make sure you click on that right box. Otherwise, later on you can adjust it, and once you get into your account. But this is how you set it up so you don't have to pay anything. All right, and then it's gonna add, then it's gonna list on there when it pops up for the amount that you're gonna pay. You got to put in your credit card information. Um, it's gonna have a $20 fee for you to bring your own phone. If you bring your own phone, that is. They have phones you can buy from them as well, or you can go out and buy one. It's then you got to bring your own. So once you get that set up, in the charge thing, you got to be careful because they've already marked a little box that says 295 or whatever it is for the voicemail. If you want voicemail from them, fine, get voicemail from them. A lot of people will use Google Voice, and that way they can tie it all together and they can give people their Google Voice phone number, and then that will um, work for them in this case where they can leave voicemail. Or if you want to pay the $2.99 or whatever a month, since you've been paying, $50 or $75 a month for your cell phone, and now you're like, oh, it's $2.50, I'll do that. Well, go ahead. I don't care. But I'm just saying, if you want absolutely free, where you just don't ever see a bill again, where it just doesn't even affect you, and you get to use your phone just like you always did, well, there's a little difference, and I'll explain that real quick. I know a lot of people are like, man, you're getting too long. I know I'm too long. Here it goes. When you turn on your phone after you get the service, it's activated because you gave them your number from your phone. So it's connected, but you have to do some things before you can start using it. So what you want to do is, at least in the Evo 4G, you go to settings. So you click on the little button there. I wish I could show you this on the screen. I don't have the camera in hand. You click on your settings inside your apps, all right, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom where it says System Updates, and then you update the profile. And when that's finished, it's got to, go through the whole thing. When it says it's finished, then you update the PRL. And when those two things are finished, then you will have the connection will be solid and you will have internet connection to your phone, and your phone will be acting as it did before on the network. So if you're in an area that you have 4G and you can actually take advantage of 4G, then you'll be on 4G. If you have, the area is 4G LTE, well, this phone doesn't work with that, but the Galaxy S3 does work with the LTE. Otherwise, you're going to fall back, like in my case, you fall back to the slower speed, the 3G, which is fine with me. All right, so now once that's all done, you're going to want to go to your marketplace or your Play Store or whatever. Yeah, I think it's called Play Store now, and you click on that, and you're going to type in Freedom Pop all in one word, and it's going to come up with. Let me see where I am here. It's going to come up with several things here. The first, let's see, the first four say, Freedom Pop. Now, the one of them's the fourth one, I think, is the Freedom Pop voicemail, and you won't be getting that unless you're paying for the voicemail. So, what you do want is you don't want number one, you want number two. It says Freedom Pop messaging. You want to install that. Now, I don't know why they call it messaging because that's your voice program as well. And then Freedom Pop, My Freedom Pop, which is the one that looks like a little wireless. It says FP with a wireless. Oh, they're all blue. So those two, it's the number two and number three in my list. Freedom Pop messaging and Freedom Pop, My Freedom Pop. So when you open them, the Freedom Pop messaging will have three choices on the top, across the top, and the first one that you'll see when you open it up is your messaging, and then your list of people, and then the third one over, all the way over, is the phone. So you click on the phone, and it'll come up with a dialing pad, and you can dial. Okay, I'm going to continue on. You don't have to listen to all the rest of this, but I'm going to continue on with some more specifics to help you set up this phone. One thing I wanted to remind you is it's good to be on the wireless. So you leave your wireless on when you're, around the house. Whenever you're on around the wireless, it doesn't take up any of your data. It's only eating up your data on your plan when you're on 3G. And you'll see the little icon on the top of your phone, and it shows the little wireless fan that shows you that you're on wireless. and not on the 3G or 4G or whatever. All right, I went into my settings and I clicked on the third one down, call, and I went to my voicemail service and it says my carrier, and I unmarked it and canceled it because it's constantly showing up in my little thing. When I slide down, it shows me voicemail that are, out of date. Uh, so if you scroll down to the bottom, there's one that says use internet calling. I went ahead and changed it. Instead of ask for each call, I changed it only for internet calls. Well, you can change it ask if you want, and then it'll give you the option of internet. I want it to be internet all the time, except when there's no Wi-Fi available, obviously. But if I'm using their network, or I mean, if I'm using their dialer, then they're going to take away minutes whether I'm on the wireless or not. So it was kind of nice to have, uh, the Magic Jack as, what I could have done in this case. What I was trying to do was I was going to use the Magic Jack application, and I just wanted internet on my phone. So I could have done that once I got the internet turned on. I didn't even need to download their programs. I could have just downloaded the Magic Jack and used it and let people dial that application Magic Jack number that I get for free because I have a Magic Jack. And so that was the plan. But then when I found out about this, well, they give me free minutes and free texting for, I'm like, well, I was going to get they also have a little wireless internet that you can just, like a little handheld wireless internet that you can carry around with you, and you get free 500 megabytes. And that was the plan. I was going to get that and carry it with a little with a little cell phone, and I would be able to get online, and I would be able to use my little Magic Jack phone app, and that would have been cool. With this extra free stuff, this works out pretty good for me. But I have an option now. I can do it either way. I don't think it's a good idea to have both programs running at the same time. I had them both on there, and I did have some problems, and it sounded terrible. I cleared it all out, started fresh, and just installed the one, and it sounded just like when I had Sprint. So, I mean, I would test it. I tell people, don't fall in love with stuff until you've tested. But as far as I can tell, you know, the difference between paying $70 a month and zero, and if there is going to be a little quality downgrade, I'm good with that. Really, because most of the time I'm on the wireless with my phone anywhere I go. So it's just very seldomly, like if you're on the road, that you would need that 3G or 4G. Okay, once you open the program, the messaging program, and you click on the menu button on your phone, like on my Evo 4G, I have a menu button down here. I click on the menu button and it gives me, the option, and I want to look at the settings. It gives me my name and address, my phone number, my basic plan, the minutes left, how many texts I have left, uh, and then some basic setup functions, and that's what you'll want to mess with next. The first button is update the Freedom Pop uh, set. So what you'll want to do is, I mean, if you're having troubles, you'll want to go ahead and use that first. That'll uh, reset everything and hopefully get everything working okay. All right, the second button down is easy configuration, and you'll want to set this up. Uh, I set it for available on Wi-Fi, talking about the availability of the profile. And I at the top on the top box there it says integrate with Android. I marked that box so that I can dial directly from my dialer, my native dialer, the original dialer that came with the phone. All right, in the next one under the network, I went in and checked, and you want to make sure it says use compact SIP, and I do that because it's going to use less data, but I don't think it really matters. You can try it both ways. All right, and I scrolled down to where it says for incoming calls and made sure that it said use Wi-Fi, use 3G and better. I don't have WiMAX in my area. If you do, that's good, but it doesn't work with that phone. Only the LTE 4G works. So what you want to do is go ahead and just make sure that the two boxes are marked Wi-Fi and the use 3G and better. And for outgoing calls, the same thing. You can unmark the other ones, the Wi-Fi, the WiMAX isn't going to help you. All right, after your first call, you might hear some weird setup in the sound. So in this section, next section is the media, and here you'll, change your settings for the sound. I use the echo cancellation, and just kind of thumb through it. And then you've got the user interface with the dialer integration, and you're going to want to make sure that these things are checked. The call log integration, mobile phone integration, you bump that, and I have marked for mobile home application, use your mobile phone, and you can force it to integrate. And as far as the theme's concerned, I don't think you have a lot of choices there. You can gather more, but I don't think that's necessary. The dial tone here's where you'll set it inside your own program, not your regular phone. So that's what's going to ring differently at first. You can change it here inside this, not inside your main phone. So you pick your, whatever dialer you want. And farther down, there's one that says don't use slider buttons. I don't like them because sometimes they don't work that great. So I mark that button. Some people like to use the slide buttons because that protects it from setting off. Like if you got it in your pocket and you're pulling it out and you might rub it and accidentally activate it. That's why people like the slide. Make that way they're just activating it on purpose. It's a good idea. And I have the prevent screen rotation marked as well. So while I'm using this interface, I don't want it to twist. All right, when you're all done with that, you should have everything should be working exactly the same. I mean, you can use your native dialer. When you're done dialing with your original dialer, which I think is nicer, it just works nicely. Once you dial the phone, it will come up and you will see the other application behind it. So, it doesn't look exactly the same once the call takes place, but you know, what's it worth to you? And how important is it that everything works exactly the same as it did, before? If it's worth it to you and you add it up and you say, 50 or 75 bucks is only a couple bucks a day, I can swing it, then, forget it. But for people that are trying to, squeeze a few bucks here and there and really don't need the service that much, it's just for these once in a while type things, well, it works great. So anyhow, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I think it's a great deal. I see no downside to it. I don't see it as a scam. I do know that when you're signing up, the agreement is that they're going to be able to install things on the devices that you use. So your phone might have some sort of a software on it that will monitor your kind of shopping and stuff like that and send them. So they're going to know a lot about you based on this usage. And that's fine. I don't care. But if, some people are into their privacy, you want to pay for that, then you go ahead and, I mean, I don't do anything on here that I don't want everybody to know about. So no problems. Anyhow, good talking to you guys. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, leave a message on this video and I will try to get back to you. Talk to you later. Bye.